So with anything that we do in procurement, it's all about being able to demonstrate it and measure it. So I'm a great believer in doing what we say. So firstly, I do believe, I'm a great believer that benefits, any benefits we deliver into our business have to be measured. So clearly at different points in time, the benefits can be seen as cost out, particularly at the moment with the recent crisis that we've had. But in addition to that, I think sometimes procurement is much overlooked for the work it does in terms of risk mitigation. And I think that is a huge piece of value to the business, which, as I say, procurement should have more recognition for. In addition, some of the areas where procurement have been making a great contribution is also in winning business. So sometimes cross-selling, as we call it. So that might be with our supply base to help them to receive information about some of the deals that, some of the products rather that AXA has. And also in driving up the top line as well. So I think procurement, with its the whole supply chain integration, I think has a great role to play in terms of delivering value into our business. And I think it's whatever it does, we need to be able to demonstrate it and we need to be able to manage it. So procurement has really come on in the last 3 to 4 years and is now recognised as a strategic function. Whereas before, I think it was probably seen as stamping, rubber stamping a contract that the business had gone out and found. Now the key is that engagement with the business right at the start of the process. So where I've seen it demonstrated in 2 areas hugely effectively is in IT, on strategic platforms that are driving new business into my company, and with the selection of the right strategic vendor for the future, in terms of working closely with the business to determine that their specification for the future is fit for purpose. So really, when we're building strategic platforms in IT and customer solutions, procurement are right at the front of that. They're absolutely key to, as I say, determining requirements. And the second part, I think, where I've seen huge engagement with procurement and they've delivered strategic results is in outsourcing. So perhaps areas of the business that have become a little bit flat and need to be more efficient in the future. Again, selecting the right partner and going through a strong RFP, a strong process to select a strategic partner, in some cases for up to 15 years to outsource business. Again, procurement are really looking at driving top level performance as well as doing their role to get best value for money. In my time with AXA, it's really moved from a tactical back office function now into a much more strategic role. So where the procurement function are placed now is much more in terms of developing business, particularly with outsourcing solutions, and really the function is helping the business to determine, I call it business solutions. In fact, we don't have IT directors, they're change directors now. And my team are a lot more business partners working for business solutions. And in fact, that's the first thing on our agenda to think about is what is the right solution for the business going forward. In particular, I've seen outsourcing being done very, very well. And in some cases, my team have taken these ideas to the business where we've had perhaps traditional business that hasn't got growth, it's very mature. And where our consumers have become a lot more demanding, they're asking for new products, they're asking for new services, and that clearly has got a lot more growth potential for the business. So where we've got that traditional business that's not got the growth opportunities, what my team are doing are helping the business to take those away and aggregate those with a specialist provider by outsourcing them to help us focus on the more strategic, growth-orientated products and services. I think that in my time in the profession, I've probably seen a number of different waves, economic waves. I've seen certainly growth, mergers, acquisitions. I've certainly seen recession and tightening the belt. In every single case, procurement and that's probably the great exciting area of procurement for me, particularly when I'm talking to graduates and getting people interested in the function. It cuts across every part of the business and it has no particular boundaries because of the economic situation. So when we're in acquisition mode, we're clearly aggregating businesses. We're looking for taking cost out through leverage. And obviously when there is a crisis, as there has been recently, we're looking to take cost out of the business to help the business in some cases survive in the short term, but we've also been there to help the business grow in the long term. So the economic situation, whatever it holds in the next 5 years, I'm absolutely convinced that procurement will be right at the forefront. And I also would say that in the profession I've seen a lot of excellent procurement leaders who've stepped into the function, and I'm absolutely certain that they will be leading the profession in those next 5 years. Procurement will still have the cost out challenges. I still see a lot of uncertainty, economic uncertainty in front of us. And procurement will still be tasked with its role of assisting the business to take cost out. There'll still be cost challenges to be met by the business, and procurement has a very clear agenda where it can support the business in doing that. So firstly, that will still be an ongoing absolute part of our business. I think the second part is looking at the end-to-end, the total cost of ownership. I see that there's a lot more that can be done in the supplier relationship management area. And when I see the negotiation and the sourcing that are done by a lot of professionals in procurement, that's then given into the business, I sometimes see that the cost that has been taken out can sometimes creep back in if the expertise isn't embedded in the business to manage a contract over the life of maybe 5 or 6 years. So I think that that overall total cost of ownership is going to be an absolute key area where procurement can add value to the business, and that's going to be something for procurement to step up to take to the next level. But certainly I don't see any shift in terms of taking cost out and assisting the business with that with their budget challenges.